Hi, today I wanted to do a short video just to show you what I do to the RV to keep it happy during the winter months. As you can see behind me, rig is covered up right now. I mean, it's been cold, it's been below freezing, so we haven't really been going anywhere. But come with me, I'll show you what I do to kind of keep the things from freezing in the winter months. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is go to the compartment on the side of the RV where the storage tanks are, where the holding tanks are. And this is typically the place where I'll go and dump my black and gray water tank. But I'm not so concerned about that today, as I am concerned about the fact that there are some water lines that run through here. So one of the things that I did is I went and here's some water lines that run up here, up into the coach, and back in this direction. And it's a good idea to find all your water lines and put some pipe insulation around them just to keep them from being totally exposed. But what I usually do is, in this compartment, you know, I have this light back here. So what I did is I took off this cover and I just turn on the light, and it's an incandescent bulb, so it's just enough once I close the door to keep this area from, you know, just above freezing. It, you know, keeps a little bit of heat coming off that light bulb. It's kind of a low-cost way to heat this compartment and keep it from getting totally frozen. So I'll go ahead and turn that on, and I'll close this compartment, and we should be good to go when it gets below freezing this weekend. So now let's go ahead and head on inside. Okay, well, we're inside the RV now, and first thing you'll notice, I got a couple of space heaters here. So this is just a small little ceramic space heater plugged in the kitchen area, and it's set on low, and the object here is just to kind of keep it running on low, just to keep it from getting really cold in here. I mean, it's not intended to keep it comfortable, but I have two. I have one up front here that will oh, there you go, it's kicking on right now, probably because I opened the door. And I have it facing the compartment under here that where the water tank is, just to kind of keep it from freezing up in there. And the water tank itself is also insulated. So walking back down the hall, we kind of have a hallway in our model, and I have a second space heater in the back here in the bathroom. So just to keep the back, you know, from freezing as well, because a lot of times the heat doesn't really get all the way to the back of the coach. So here's another one, kind of keep the bathroom cabinet open, just because there's water lines and everything in there. Okay, so now I'm in the rear part of the RV, and this is the bedroom. And the reason I'm back here is because this is where my water pump is located. So if you see this wire here, what I've done is I've rigged just an incandescent light on a switch that goes back under this cabinet, and this is actually where my water tank is, and this light. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on, and that just keeps some a little bit of heat back here. Doesn't cost a lot in terms of electricity. And I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. There's my water pump, and I just had this light hanging right off of the drawer there, and keeps this place nice and warm. Just a little compartment. I'll go ahead and close this door, and so what I'll do is if I think it's going to get below freezing, I'll come out here and turn on this light, and then when it warms up, I'll just turn it off again. So just like the light in the storage compartment below, where the sewer drain valves are, you know, I'll turn on this, and it's just enough to keep it from getting too cold. Okay, I've also got some fairly large windows in my RV. So you know, if you're trying to keep it above freezing, you know, it's usually a good idea if you can insulate them some way, kind of like if you're doing some winter camping. So what I've done is I just gone to Home Depot and get a couple of rolls of this insulation, is bubble wrap stuff, and then you can cut it to fit your windows. And I've just put a little bit of Velcro at the top. Can't really see it, but it allows me to just stick it right to the window. And I keep these around. I got some cut to fit for all the different windows here. So it actually has come in pretty handy. I'll go into the kitchen here. Here's another one. You know, we're not using it right now, so it just keeps the cold out, keeps the heat in, makes it so your space heaters don't have to work so hard. So it also works in the summer. I've actually used it when it gets really hot. We're in the, you know, areas that are over, you know, pushing 100 degrees or in the 90s, and it really makes it difficult for your air conditioner to keep the place cool. So, you know, putting these insulation pieces in your windows, you know, allows your rig to get cooled off a little bit faster. So good idea to keep these handy, you know, in your rig, and you just take them off and put them back up whenever you need them. And I'll go ahead and close this back up, and I'll just keep these in here all winter until I need to use it again. I'll just close the blinds all the way down. Keep it nice and toasty. And for the most part, what I'll do is I'll also keep the vent covers closed, just to kind of retain some of the heat. But every once in a while I'll open them up and run a fan, and you know, it's good to get some of any condensation or moisture buildup, you know, get some air circulating through here. Do that whenever, you know, like once a month or every few weeks whenever I come to start the engine. So finally, what I'll usually do, and I do this every couple of weeks or maybe every month depending upon how often I feel like it, I'll go ahead and start up the rig just to get the engine cranking and get it warmed up. And it's kind of dark down here, but I'll kind of climb into the cab, start the engine. Kind of keeps my battery charged up. And it's kind of dark in here. It's hard to see. So I can turn on turn on some lights. Yeah, it keeps my battery charged up, keeps the oil circulating in my tank. And it's kind of dark in here because I have covers up over the window. But one thing that I wanted to mention, and this works for the summer and the winter, is if I have the E450 chassis on my rig. And one thing I learned is that if you're trying to keep the place cold or warm, what you have to do is go to your heat settings and where the fan is, and make sure you turn everything off. So you make sure you turn it to the off position. What happens is if you actually leave it on, you know, to mix or one of these other settings, that actually opens the vent in the front of the rig, and you get some cold air, or in the summer some hot air that goes in, and it doesn't seal up, and it becomes hard to heat or cool down. So one tip to this though is that you actually have to do it while the engine's running, or the key is in the on position or in the accessory position. Otherwise, since it's an electronic switch, it doesn't actually shut off if you do it after the fact, once everything's shut down. So I've gone ahead and I've started the engine. And what I'll also do is you know, I test the generator every month, just to make sure that it's running good. And I don't think it's a problem, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and run it at the same time that I've got the engine fired up. So on my panel here, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the generator switch. You can hear it starting. And you know, the more often you do this, the better it is. There you go. Fires up, and it's a good sign. And after a few seconds, it's gonna switch on. You know, I still got it hooked up to the house, so the the inverter is gonna switch over. And I'm gonna go ahead and I go to my thermostat here. You know, as you can see, it's you know, the temperature outside is just around 40. And it's in the mid 40s, upper 40s inside. So I'll go ahead and turn on the heat. So I don't know if you can hear it. There you go. My heat pump kicked on, so it puts a little bit of load on the generator, which is good, because you always want to run it when you're testing it, cycling it every month. You want to run it with a load on it, so it keeps the gears going, keeps it pumping out good. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll run it for about half an hour, and then we'll shut it all down. I'm probably going to run the engine just for about another 15 minutes or until it warms up, and then I'll shut that down too. So Okay, I'm standing just outside the rig right now. I'm actually under the cover. This is great actually. If it's raining out, you can do some work or whatever and keep the cover up. So as you can see, I got the see the tailpipe though. I got the engine running just to warm it up. I'm about to shut that off here pretty soon. It's okay to do this while the cover's on, as long as there's nothing obstructing the exhaust or anything like that that's gonna burn a hole through your cover or, you know, asphyxiate you, or one of the two. You know, on the side of the rig here, I got you know, my gas furnace that's running right now because the heat pump isn't you know, it's got too many degrees to make up for, so it won't kick in fully until the rig is heated up to where the thermostat is set. I also turned on my water heater. My water heater is located in here. My electric water heater, just to put an extra load on the generator, which is also running, and I'll let that run for a little while. In fact, I've noticed that this piece fell off. It goes in here. All right. Close that up. Also to warm the tank up. The water in the tank. There's a little bit of water in there, which will also keep it from freezing. Some people actually would just come and turn their electric water heater on when it's frozen out to keep it from freezing. But I know mine's well insulated, so it's going to be fine. So I'll just walk around the other side. That's where the generator's running. Again, there's my exhaust, so you want to make sure that's not obstructed by your cover. Here, open up this compartment here. There's the generator. Chugging along pretty well under load. I'll let that run a little while longer. So in a moment I'm going to go ahead and shut everything down, and then we'll be all done. And it's supposed to snow tonight and possibly get below freezing, so that's why I'm doing this. Okay, I've just shut off the engine on the rig and let it get nice and warmed up and just shut it down. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is shut down the generator. It's been running for a while now, and first, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and kill some of these appliances that I've turned on, just because I don't need them anymore. Heat's been running for a little while. Put that to off. You can kind of hear the change in the sound of the generator when I do that. I turn on my electric water heater. I got a gas and an electric mode, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And I still got some lights running just because it's dark in here and I don't want to make it too dark for the video. So I'll go ahead and stop the generator. And you'll notice my lights are still on. They're running on batteries, but it should switch over to my shore power now. And that's it. I'll kind of button up the rig and call it a day. Okay, well, I've buttoned everything back up, shut down the generator, shut down the engine, and now I think I'm ready for some colder weather, you know, some below freezing for this weekend. So, you know, something I just do every once in a while, so I can sleep good at night knowing that the RV is not freezing up. But obviously, if you're, I mean, I don't winterize, but if you're in an area of the country that, you know, has more extreme winters, you'd probably want to winterize your water lines and you know, the rest of your RV, or if you're keeping it in storage, you're definitely going to want to do that. But I don't. So hopefully this is helpful, and if you want to leave me a comment, or if there's other things you want to see, go ahead and comment on this post, and I'll see you next time.